Hello everyone, this is Gen Z Talks, bringing another video here. Today I'm going to talk about why you should settle, or in this case, vote for Joe Biden. Now I'm going to be totally clear with you, Joe Biden is not the most perfect candidate. However, he's a lot better than Trump, and he's the most left-wing candidate we had since Lyndon B. Johnson. He's even more left-wing than Obama, and will actually help the American people. But first, let's start with the good old Biden ad to get you started with.
The country is crying out for leadership. Leadership that can unite us, leadership that brings us together. I look at the presidency as a very big job, and nobody will get it right every time. And I won't either. But I promise you this, I won't traffic in fear and division. I won't fan the flames of hate. I'll seek to heal the racial wounds that have long plagued our country, not use them for political gain. I'll do my job and I will take responsibility. I won't blame others. But I promise you, this job is not about me. It's about you. It's about us. To build a better future. That's what America does. We build the future. It may, in fact, be the most American thing to do. This is the United States of America. There's never been anything we've been unable to do when we set our mind to do it and we've done it together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
So that's a good start to the video. Now I'm going to go through why you should vote for, and I'm going to use economic, foreign, and domestic policies, in addition to the fact that we need unity right now. So I'm going to start off with healthcare. So as you could tell, Joe Biden was a big proponent of Obamacare. Whether you like that or not, it's up for debate. However, Obamacare got 100 million people to not worry about health insurance, and the fact that before Obamacare, people can be rejected for having a pre-existing condition. However, with Obamacare, 100 million people no longer have to worry about that. And in addition, roughly 20 million additional people got onto health insurance. And matter of fact, many of them, who are young, can still be on their parents' coverage until they're the age of 26. Now, with Trump, the healthcare has been under attack. He tried repealing Obamacare with nothing to replace, which would have taken away 20 to even a little over 100 million people's health insurance / healthcare. But Joe Biden's not just trying to add on to the Affordable Care Act, but he's trying to keep it, improve it, and even give us something called a public option. The public option, like Medicare, will negotiate prices with providers, providing a more affordable option for many Americans who today find their health insurance too expensive. Essentially, many people on the left, like people who support Bernie Sanders and all that, they wanted to give Americans universal health care, which in fact is supported by 60% of Americans, according to the Pew Research Center. This is for 2018, by the way. But he would give us health care for all for a cheaper price. But instead of giving us full-out health care, this guy, he doesn't want us to, how to say this, Joe Biden does not want to get rid of health insurance as a whole. So he's instead saying, oh, if you don't like your health insurance, we can give you a public option healthcare system like Medicare, which is actually a lot cheaper. You can read the plan on his website. It is a ton more cheaper. You essentially, quote unquote, buy into it. And even that, you can get free preventive care, including contraception. But I mean, that's also, the Affordable Care Act did that too. But the point is, you can get better health care for a lot lower price, and you can get public option / somewhat affordable, somewhat universal health care. So that's really good. Trump is trying to gut health care, gut the Affordable Care Act, and that would lose 20 to over 100 million people losing their health insurance. This guy's trying to build on Obamacare, and if you don't like your Obamacare or your health insurance, you can get on a public option like Medicare. I've already explained to you that 60% of Americans want that. Now the next thing, the climate plan. Biden wants to get us back into the Paris Climate Agreement, in addition to ensuring that the U.S. will achieve a 100% clean energy economy and get net zero emissions no later than 2050. This guy is using a Bernie Sanders type Green New Deal type of thing. He wants us to get 100% clean energy economy no later than 2050. In addition, he wants to get us back into the Paris Climate Agreement, which Trump pulled us out of. In addition, speaking of agreements that Trump pulled out of, Biden wants to get us back into the Iran nuclear deal. Whether it's simple or not, that's up for debate, but Trump pulled out of it, despite Iran following the rules. You can watch this in my previous video about why Trump shouldn't be president. But Biden's going to get us back in the Iran nuclear deal, he will get us a Green New Deal, and he'll get us back in the Paris Climate Agreement, and finally, for environment, he's going to get us a clean energy economy. Now, taxes. Many people on the right are saying, oh, Trump cut taxes for everyone and Biden will raise taxes for everyone. Actually, that is not true. Trump's tax cuts, actually, 83% of them, as you can read right here, you can press the link, 83% of them went to the top 1%, increasing the wealth inequality and the racial wealth gap. Biden, on the other hand, only wants to raise taxes for people making over $400,000 a year and would have dozens of middle-class tax cuts. Because right now, what's going on is that Trump cut taxes for wealthy people and corporations, which all they did was do stock buybacks. You can read this in the plan below, and you could even click the links. But all they did was buy back stocks, cut jobs, and barely give things for the workers. They ruined everything for the workers, and everything went on the top. Biden, on the other hand, is going to raise the taxes on people making over $400,000 to pay their fair share in tangent to their income, and he'll give more than a dozen middle-class tax breaks. You can read the plan right here on Joe Biden 2 tax policies, and how right here, slash 350 million manufacturing jobs. That's what happened during Trump when he passed the tax cuts. Boeing offshored more than 2,000. And back to the point of saying how the middle class is already going to pay higher taxes and is paying higher taxes under Trump's tax plan. You could press this right here, taxpolicycenter.org, read that for yourself. But the main point is that by 2027, around 70% of middle class families will have to pay higher taxes. So basically, to give tax breaks to the wealthy, you have to raise them on the middle class. This has been done many times by the Republicans, so they deliberately mislead their audience. So no, all Joe Biden wants to do is raise taxes on people making over $400,000 a year and give tax breaks to the working folks. Now, how is Joe Biden going to do for workers? Biden has a very strong pro-union stance. In addition to that, he will give us a $15 minimum wage, which he is actually for. He wants to give us a $15 minimum wage. He's very big on union rights because Trump is anti-union as a whole, and Biden has a really long history of being pro-union. Basically, Biden's going to be good for unions, and he's going to give us a $15 minimum wage, which will raise pay for millions. I can make a video on that next, on why you should be for the $15 minimum wage. But he's going to give everyone a fair shot, not just the wealthy like Trump does. In addition, according to a Pew Research study, 2/3 of Americans favor raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. So this is a very popular proposal, 67-33. And if you look at it by, even every race wants it, every gender wants it. It's very popular. Now for education. He wants to make public colleges and universities tuition free for all families with median income, household income, which means two parents, making below $125,000. This will benefit many people across the country. So that's what Joe Biden's plan is. In addition, I'll play this right here. He wants to give universal preschool, or pre-K, or whatever you want to call it, preschool. He wants to give universal preschool for all American children. He wants to increase job training. He wants to also increase the wages of teachers by increasing funding. This one is a really good part. You should pay attention. 1 in 5 children experience mental health challenges in public schools. So I'm talking about K-12 in this instance. So Joe Biden wants to double the amount of social workers and psychologists in schools. Like this in and of itself is really amazing. No politician has proposed this. This is honestly the best idea ever, especially right now during COVID. This is really a great idea. This will reduce the amount of violence in public schools and reduce mental health issues, obviously. But this is straight up. Fun fact, majority white schools get over $20 billion in funding, $20 more billion in funding than non-white schools. And Joe Biden wants to close that gap, giving every person of every race, class, and gender an equal playing field. Again, back to the point. He wants to give everyone a playing field for income, race, gender. So the main points for his K-12 and below, he wants to give universal preschool. He wants to increase funding for public schools. He wants to give, as I stated over here, for colleges, make public colleges and universities tuition free for families making below $125,000. He wants to double the amount of psychologists, counselors, and social workers in school, and he wants to reduce the $20 billion that non-white schools do not get. I'm going to show this right here. Right here. There's an estimated $23 billion annual funding gap between white and non-white school districts today, and gaps persist between high and low-income student districts as well. This one right here, EdBuild. You can literally find this. And then I already talked about the colleges. Speaking of colleges, most Americans actually want public tuition-free college, as 63% of Americans support public tuition-free college. Even men, whites, every single age group except for 65 plus, all education, they all support it, and it's actually very affordable. And the next one is housing. Joe Biden, he wants to increase access to affordable housing, and the best part of all, he wants to end redlining and discriminatory practices that are unfair to minorities and all that sort of stuff. Like, he wants to make it affordable because 1/3 of an income goes to pay for rent and all that as of right now. He wants to give that. He wants to give affordable housing for as much as possible, and he believes housing and healthcare are a human right. Education, I've already explained this one. He wants to do all that. In addition, he wants to, for clean energy, I already stated he wants the Green New Deal. He wants to get 2050 net zero climate emissions, but he also wants to give us like more subway type trains. He also wants to improve our infrastructure by creating millions of good jobs. He wants to fix the auto industry and create more jobs. He wanted to get public transit, which is really, really good. Very few politicians are going for public transit. This guy wants to give us public transit for all, like what they have in the big cities, but it is really good. Just read these plans right here. Overall, Joe Biden may suck, but at least his plans, economic plans, are amazing. He wants to give us better health care, and most people want better health care, and he wants to give us a net zero emissions no later than 2050. He wants to invest more in public transport. He wants to get back in the Paris Climate Agreement and the Iran nuclear deal. He wants to cut taxes for working folks and raise taxes for people making over $400,000 a year to reverse the Trump tax cut. He also is pro-union and pro-$15 minimum wage, and many people support $15 minimum wage. He's going to reduce the education gap between non-white and majority white schools and rural, urban, and suburban schools. He wants everyone at a fair playing field. And he's going to give public colleges and universities tuition free for all families with incomes below $125,000. I stated that 63% of that American population supports that. He wants to increase access to low-income housing because we do not want that much homelessness out in America. We need to reduce that. So this is the way to reduce it. He wants to give us more public transit, and he also even wants us to give us a railroad revolution with like subways and stuff like that. Like, this guy is really, really good on his economic policies, and he's battling for the soul of America. So whether you call it settle for Biden or vote for Biden, either way, just support this man and vote for him in office. He's going to help everybody. Thank you.